Clock strikes 0800 hours. Horns bugle. Feet snap. Against concrete. The salute. Crisp as fresh laundry. Hanging on the lines in Sugarloaf. In the distance, the colors ascend. Red, white, blue. Rising. Engines fire. Convoys roll. Farmers tend their crops. Soldiers fall into line. A soft rumble of a tractor fades into the distance. 500 families forcefully removed. Crops left behind. Empty barns. Clothes left in trees. A mountain, the only thing remaining. Tanks roll in. Jets fly by. Protectors of freedom. Making a home anew. I live 15 minutes away from Fort Hood, the largest military base in the United States. My friends and I would go onto base to bowl and hang out all the time. Every 4th of July that I can remember has been spent at Fort Hood watching the fireworks that they put on for the community. However, Fort Hood has not always been this way. It was once just a small military camp, and before that, it was a small community that housed predominantly farmers and ranchers. These farmers and ranchers had to sacrifice their homes in order for Camp Hood to be built in 1942. However, this sacrifice was necessary. Stabler states that the decision for Camp Hood to be established in 1942 was based upon the facts that the land was rugged and had many hills that were similar to those the troops would face in Europe. The decision to put the base on this land was very tough because the land was some of the most fertile in the surrounding communities. According to Mears, cotton and corn were still the most prevalent crops being produced, with some of the largest crops being in that area that would soon be converted to Camp Hood. After World War II, many of the divisions that were placed at Camp Hood were decommissioned and sent to other military bases because basic training was no longer a necessity. This caused the surrounding towns to apply pressure to ensure that the remaining divisions would remain at Camp Hood so their towns would not fall into recession. Pugsley states, these actions resulted in Camp Hood becoming a permanent facility in 1948 and being renamed Fort Hood. During the struggle to establish Camp Hood, many farmers and ranchers lost all of their land, or they lost the land that was of most value to them, such as the part that contained water wells. This left part of the land useless and forced farmers and ranchers to move. Most of the families were given short notice to move off of their land, at most a couple of weeks. Some of the families were able to relocate their entire house. However, many families were forced to leave behind their homes and other belongings. Pugsley comments, even though these families were forced off of their land, some said they understood because everyone had to make sacrifices for the war. One resident states, we had to support the war, do things to support our troops. These families were given a short notice to leave their homes, but they were also given money and help in any way the military could do so. Pugsley states some of the previous landowners are still alive today. These families get together at reunions that are hosted by the Army. These reunions allow the neighbors who were separated by the move to come together and reminisce about what the community was like and the impact of Fort Hood. Another way for former Camp Hood landowners to reminisce was at the 70-year anniversary hosted by Fort Hood. Graham Ashley reports Juanita Fawcett, a former resident relocated by the establishment of Camp Hood, attended this anniversary and commented on how much she had seen Fort Hood, as well as the surrounding communities, grow and evolve from the small farming towns that were once present. Those who were once a part of the communities used these sources as a way to remember the land they once had and the memories they had on them. The families that were forced off their land in order for Camp Hood to be established have lost a great deal and went through this traumatic experience. However, Camp Hood and Fort Hood is a crucial element to the safety in the United States, and the sacrifice of their homes was necessary to maintain this safety.